Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Alex here from Carnivore for Life. It's Saturday afternoon. It's just past 4 p.m. I think it's a bit earlier in Texas. Just excited today. I've got a really special guest of mine. It's Ron from the YouTube channel Overcoming Carbs. Hi, Ron.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm fantastic, mate. Really good. Good to see you. I was intrigued by your channel. I've been watching a couple of the videos. You did one with Alia Wells, and I think you went on one of the live streams with Kerry. Is that right?
Yeah, I went to one of his and
Yeah,
spoke there as well.
good stuff. So, Ron, please introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about yourself and life in Texas.
Well, Texas is an interesting place. I'll put it that much. The weather is not conducive to the carnivore lifestyle. If you want to get out and try to walk around when it's 110, 112 degrees,
Wow.
and it kind of makes it difficult to do any kind of walking. But it's cooling off this morning. It is 62 degrees. It's an amazing morning. When I took my dogs out this morning, I was like, man, I do not want to go back inside. It's cooler outside than it is in my house. So it was a great feeling. But I'll probably take a walk today for the first time. It'll be nice. Um, Texas, it's a wonderful place. It's beautiful. I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here, and um, many people think, that everybody has a horse in Texas. Well, we don't all have horses in Texas. We don't all hitch them up to the post, and it's not a cowboy lifestyle out here. But I was
Wow.
raised with an agricultural background. Um, my grandfather, he had uh, a herd of black Angus cattle, um, registered black Angus when I was probably up till I was like 7 years old. He had them, and um, he had all kinds of crops and that he was producing on his property. He had probably almost 300 acres of land, and I have cousins that are in the dairy business. I've got relatives that are raising beef cattle. Matter of fact, I bought my first calf from my uncle, and every other calf that I raised throughout high school, I bought from my grandmother. And um, it was interesting to be raised in an area like this. I'm raising my kids here. I love it. I have a 23-year-old son and a 19-year-old son. Been married now for it'll be 26 years on October the 18th of this year. So coming up in 11 days, it'll be 26 years. Been having some life experiences with her. One of the reasons why I started this way of eating
Mm.
was because of her. She's been keto for 12 years, and ever since she had her uh, thyroid irradiated, and it was because of her being frustrated with her weight and everything, and the fact that she couldn't lose weight even being on keto, that started us down this path down carnivore. Um, I was just Googling one day and I said, no thyroid, can't lose weight, um, keto is what I put on
Mm.
it. And the first thing that comes up is Dr. Kim Berry interviewing Kelly Hogan. And this is just right after KetoCon or whatever it was back in April. And my wife follows a lot of people on Instagram that are keto and low carb and everything. And I said, have you ever heard of Ken Berry or Kelly Hogan? She said, well, everybody's talking about them from the KetoCon. And she said, yeah, I've heard of them. And said, well, you want to watch this video with me? Because this lady's been through a lot and she's able to lose weight, and you've already cut out a bunch of stuff. Let's just see what she has to say. So we watched the video together, and she was like, hey, I've already reduced everything, and what's cutting out all the other stuff but meat? Let's give it a shot. Since doing that on April the 24th of this year, She has actually lost 17 pounds for the first time since 2011 or since she
Wow.
started keto. And when she decided she was going to do it, I said, "Well, I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to join you because we both went to the doctor on April the 11th. And when I went to the doctor, I got on the scale and I weighed 440 pounds. I knew I was over
Say that
400
again.
because I was 440 pounds. I don't know how many stone that is, or
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. You probably know the what does
I would,
how much that.
yeah, I would guess, sorry, I would guess it's probably 30 plus because I was 202 pounds and I was about 14 and a half to 15 stones. So yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
So I don't
Sorry to
know.
interrupt you.
No, no, no. You're fine. That's fine. But I didn't know uh, how bad I was until I got to the doctor. And when I saw that
Yeah.
440 pounds, I was like, man, I got to do something. This is stupid. Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, if you're going to do this carnivore thing, I'm going to do it with you. And I was like, this is great. This
Mm,
is awesome. And that we can do this together, that this is available to us. And so I started it. And my thing was, she started it from a keto standpoint. So her jumping into it was not a big deal. Me jumping into it was putting my body into shock. It was like, I don't know what I'm doing. My body was like, hey, you've been doing, 43 years of eating, kind of keto, kind of not keto, kind of low carb. Everyone's, I go back and forth. I was one of those, I got to 440 pounds for a reason. It wasn't because I was doing keto. So when I decided to do the carnivore, it was like, you're trying to kill me. My body was going,
yeah.
I'm not going to do this. And so I, uh, I had experience with an oxalate dump. I didn't know what it was, but when I went to look at the information later, um, I was like, uh, I was having chills one day, no fever or anything like that. I didn't feel bad. I was just constantly shaking and on a Saturday. And so I went back and I looked up the symptoms of an oxalate dump, and then one of the symptoms was chills. And I was like, well, I guess my body was just flipping
Mm,
out and decided it was going to dump. But it mimicked a lot of what I used to get with gout. And I thought I was having a gout attack or something at the
right.
time. But I wasn't having a gout attack because I didn't have any inflammation or any burning sensation in my joints or anything like that. So I'm like, this isn't the same thing. Um, but the chills were bad, and it went on for about 24 hours, and then
Mm,
it was done. And this is why my wife and I were talking. It's like, you tell people don't jump into it. I said, well, it depends on where you're coming from. Because if you're doing keto or low carb, going into carnivore is not that big of a deal. You're not going to you may still have issues, with your body adjusting, but going from a standard American diet or eating a bunch of, just crap and, stuff that you don't need and jumping into carnivore, you're going to have your body go, red flag, what are you doing to me? And you're going to have repercussions of that
mm,
decision. That's why I'm telling people, take it slow when you go into it if you're coming from this way. If you're already doing keto, you shouldn't have really that much
yeah.
of a big deal. Um, but with that, when I started on April 24th, I basically, um, from that point until recently, I've lost 90 pounds. So I'm down to 350 pounds. I've lost over
Fantastic.
24 inches over my body. Most of that was in
Yeah.
my chest, my stomach, and my rear area. So, and I tell people I have like, they're, loose skin and everything. Probably about 50 or 60 pounds into it, I started seeing the really loose skin. And I tell people I have like a durian on the bottom of my stomach. So it's like I have a really bad, ugly fruit down there. And,
Wow.
the skin underneath your arms and everything. Uh, what's really interesting is I went through a 72-hour fast. Um, and I didn't know I could do 72. I eat one meal a day. So 23 hours is no big deal. I can do 23, 24. So I decided I was going to do a 48-hour fast. Well, when I
Yeah.
got through the
Yeah.
48 hours, I was like, I can probably do another day. So I just kept on going and went to the next day, and um, I didn't know I could do things like that.
Yeah.
And,
Did you
and
think, Ron, that sorry, did you think that because you're such a busy guy or your family's so busy that you can do this? I found that when I've got nothing to do, I was always thinking about food, but I've done a 24-hour fast when I was extremely busy and I was thinking, geez, I haven't ate for 24 hours and I feel like Superman.
oh
But I've
yeah,
never gone further. Yeah, I've never gone further than 24, but to do a 3-day fast is incredible. How did you feel after the 3 days?
I, in all honesty, I thought I could go longer.
Yeah,
But because I mean, I have so much stored up on me. It's not like I'm right, like lacking anything. But I drank the water. I drank the electrolytes through the time to make sure that I
yeah,
was getting everything I needed. I was still taking. I take a vitamin D supplement because I was low vitamin D. I take magnesium, so I make sure I get all that while I was doing this. So I really
yeah,
wasn't. The only thing I didn't, have was just the sensation of actually being full. So, but I found out what hunger really is, though, through the thing, because when I was thinking through that 72 hours, am I really hungry, or is it just something that my body is just, giving me a sensation of? And
yeah,
knowing that
yeah,
I could go 72 hours, I was able to go, you know, I was able to feel what the actual hunger was. And that's
mm,
one thing this whole diet. I mean, some of the things that I won't call it a diet, this way of eating, one of the things that this way of eating actually showed me, and reason why I called my channel Overcoming Carbs is that I know what hunger is. I know
mm,
I can now feel a stop or a point where I can actually stop eating.
yeah,
Um, Whereas before, when I was eating, even on keto and low carb, you're still getting the carbs, and like even up to 20 or 30 carbs in your meal. And I was able to eat those things, and my wife would be, even when I was doing that, it's like, "Do you think that's too much, to eat?" And I'm like, "Hey, it's below 20 carbs. What are you talking about?" You know,
yeah,
but my body didn't know how to say stop. And the
yeah,
reason why
yeah,
is because I've had so much time of just training of my body to actually um want sugar, want carbs.
yeah,
After 43 years of doing this, I mean, I'm 53 years old. I probably started when I was around 10, actually eating, just all the stuff. Um, but I never knew how to actually say, I'm done. I actually, the point where I would get to where I was done was it's because my stomach it just hurt, because I had to put so much food in there. But
yeah,
when I started this way of eating, I would actually eat something. I'm going, getting all the fat in there. You can only eat so much fat. Getting the fat in there, I was actually able to feel full and know I've had enough. And the thing was, is I wasn't fulfilling that need of my brain for the dopamine of that sugar. So
yeah, yeah,
it was like, I need the sugar, I need the sugar, I want this, I want this. But when I wasn't giving it to it, it was like saying, oh, well, you, you don't need any more food if you're not going to give that to me.
yeah,
And it took months for me to, I would say probably up to 3 months, probably within the second or third month, I was able to actually um, not have that sensation of like, you need carbs, you need this.
yeah,
Now, do I have cravings? Oh yeah, everybody's got a craving. I mean, you have all these years of eating this way. You think it's not going to raise its head up and say, you know,
mm,
you want this, or this sounds good. I mean, you've done it, but every decision we have has a repercussion to it.
yeah,
Food is the only thing we as people will actually give leniency to,
mm,
because we might be able to say, I really need to get somewhere really fast, so I'm going to drive really fast to get there. And, hey, you may get pulled over, you may get the police may get you and you get a ticket. where we were like, well, I can't really afford a ticket right now, or we'll be like, you know, just in life in general, we will, let's say you want to upgrade your wedding ring. Well, if you
Yeah.
don't have the money to upgrade your wedding ring, you're not going to do it. You're like, oh, I can't mortgage my house to, upgrade my ring, or, or I need to buy a new car. Well, you may not actually buy the brand new car, but you might buy a used car.
Yeah.
But with food, we're just like, oh, what the heck? I'm just going to go ahead and eat it.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we do that? Is it just because, we don't think that it will hurt us, you know? And that's what I did for years. It was just
Yeah.
like I gave it so much control of my life. And now I feel like I have that control back. Now with
Yeah.
this, I have actually eliminated so many things. I'm like, I when I started this, I was taking a testosterone replacement therapy injectable. I was taking thyroid medication because I had low
Mm.
thyroid. Um, I was Before I started, I was taking gout medication. I was on alpurinol, and that didn't work. And they put me on Uloric at 40 milligrams, and that still didn't work. So they put me on 80 milligrams of Uloric for gout. And I was really concerned about it whenever I went into this way of eating. But then I saw the videos from Dr. Berry and a few other people, even the Michigan foot doctors and things like that.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's the fructose that does it and not the meat you eat. And so I was like, okay, I haven't had a gout flare up since I started this way of eating. I haven't taken that medicine since I started this way of eating.
Mm.
I have eliminated two blood pressure medicines that I was on. I was taking one in the morning and one in the evening. And I stopped the one in the evening about 2 months into this, maybe
Mm.
3 months into it. And then about a month and a half ago, I stopped the one in the morning.
Yeah.
My blood pressures have been normal. I haven't had to worry about that. I mean, I'm 350 pounds and my blood pressure's regulated. It's not like, you know, it's the weight that all does it. No, it's what all you're putting. You don't have the inflammation. You're eating what you need. So my body's just like, hey, relax, chill out. I don't have to worry about it. So got rid of that. Um, I had this thing. I had this brown ring around my neck right here that just went
Yeah.
around my neck, and I was always wondering what that was. And I found out that was a thing called acanthosis nigricans, and it's due to insulin resistance. And it's gone away. I mean, it went away
Yeah.
within probably a month or two. And I'm watching skin tags shrink up. I mean, this is just crazy, all the stuff that goes on with your body, and it's an amazing thing. And I don't know, it's just my wife, she's seen benefits, I've seen benefits. Uh, there's so many things out there that this diet can actually do for you, or I call it diet. That diet word keeps coming into my brain, but this way of eating does, and it's just an amazing thing. And if anybody's thinking about it or really concerned about it, or their blood work, I'm going to have my blood work done. I'm going Monday, basically on, what is that, the 9th, or what date is the Monday? I can't even
Yeah.
think of
Something
what.
like that.
Yeah, it's the 9th.
Ninth
Gonna go
is
have my
Monday.
blood
Yeah.
work done, and I'm gonna go see the doctor on the 18th. So, I'm
Yeah.
gonna know how my blood has been, since April, what all's been going on in my blood work. I'm also asking for the metabolic panel, the comprehensive metabolic panel, and also my fasting insulin, because I want to know where I'm at
Yeah.
right now. And
Yeah. Sure.
that'll give me something I can report on in, a week and a half from now. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to what my
Mhm.
doctor says, because I haven't seen her since July. That was the last time I went to go see her. She wanted me to come back every month. And then she's like, after July, she's like, "You're losing weight. Don't worry about it. Just come back, in October." And I was like, "Yeah, that's great." And but if you're concerned, the benefits outweigh any concern. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Has your doctor had a chat with you about carnivore?
We had a chat early on because I talked to my wife about it. I was like, "Do you think I ought to tell her what I'm doing?" And she's like, "You got to be open with her. You got to tell her."
Mm.
So when I went in after that first month in May, I'd lost 20 pounds, and she's like, "Okay, I know that thyroid replacement and the testosterone replacement didn't make you lose 20 pounds in a month. So what's going on?
True.
What did you
Yeah.
change? I said, well, have you heard of this thing called the carnivore diet? And she said, oh, that's what Jordan Peterson does.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, she goes, yeah, that's why she wanted to start seeing me every month, because she wanted to see about what the testosterone was doing, how I was responding to that, and the thyroid.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I came back the next month, I lost another 15 pounds. And then I came back the next month and I lost another 13. So she's like, just come back whenever, in October, and we'll talk then. She goes, you're doing
Yeah.
fine. I don't need to see you anymore. And so I was like, okay, well, we'll see what it does in October. Hey, Keto Cheeto.
Wow.
They got Cast
Yeah.
Iron Carnivore, and I hope for all is out there. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, anyway, that's where I'm at right now with my doctor. She's great.
Okay. Let's have a go. I had on the live stream last night, as I say, the internet connection for me was horrendous, but the two guys from the UK, they were really patient, and we got through the actual live stream okay. I watched it back later, and it was some good content, but as I say, it's I just hope it never happens again. So I've got you on as an admin today, as you know. So as I say, are you able to put some of these comments on?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think it'll
Yeah.
let me show. Yeah.
Okay. If you see any that are directed at you in particular, Ron, you just
Okay.
put them on.
That sounds
Okay,
good.
be a bit of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keto.
So a
I've
question
heard
about your
about
weight.
your. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was question about your weight. I'd say I was over 202 pounds when I started. I'm only 5'9", and I say with all my health issues, I knew I had to lose weight. I've been talking about it for years. Like yourself, I lost about 20 pounds in the first couple of months, which shocked Michelle, my wife, and family and friends, and everyone backed off. I didn't speak to my doctor, but I've got now down to 11 stone 7, which is about 160, I think 162, and I can't go any further. No matter what I do, it just stays at that. Have you got
Yeah.
a target weight in mind for yourself?
I don't want to put a target on it as much as I just want to be healthy. Um, I do have goals I want to do. One of the goals
Yeah.
is I want to get down and I want to match my son in weight, because once I match him, we made a pact when I started this that he was going to join me and he was going to do
Oh,
this
yeah.
with me if I can match weight with him. And I mean, I've been a bad influence, for their whole life as far as how to eat and so forth. And that's one of the things that, I want to
Yeah.
do is I want to be a better influence for them. My youngest son, who's 19, he's type 1 diabetic, and it's not because of anything he ate or anything. He's probably the healthiest
No.
one of us all as far as his eating habits and so forth. And he said to me the other day after I did that 72-hour fast, he said, Dad, it says, you can tell that you've changed. And I was like, I started thinking about it, and he's 19 years old and he's never seen me at 350 pounds. I think
Mm.
I was probably 370 pounds when he was born. And
Wow.
I was like, it's sad that he's never seen me this way. But then again, I was happy that he was able to see me and he'll be able to see me continue on this way.
Yeah.
And
That's an incredible goal.
yeah, and so, I think my body will take me to where I need to be. When I graduated high school and I was
Yeah.
18 years old, I was pretty fit because I was still, big, but I had a lot of muscle mass on me from I was working at a feed store and we were unloading 25 tons of feed from a trailer. And I was constantly lifting, these 50 pounds and 60-pound bags, and my back and my arms were pretty built up, and I weighed 211 pounds when I graduated high school.
Mm.
And I'm thinking if I can get down to that, then I'll know that I was I know that I'll be healthier and I know that I will be where my body will take me where I need, just like your body took you to 160.
Yeah.
I When I got married, I weighed 270 pounds back in 1997,
Yeah.
and I had just done like fat free and all this stuff, and I just
Me too.
I I want to get to that point, back to when we first got married, and then I want to see where my body goes from there. I just want to take the ride. I don't want to put anything,
Yeah.
any kind of, I even heard Kelly Hogan talking about this the other day about, I want to be this, or, we put these goals like, yeah, I won't be happy until I make this weight or something. We say, I
Yeah.
want to be 170 pounds. You know, I don't think I've been 170 pounds or even 160 pounds. Like you see, I'm only 2 inches taller than you. I'm 5'11". So the main thing is I want to be here longer for my family. You know, I want to
Yeah.
be here for them.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if I get down to 180 pounds, if that's what my body wants to do, oh well, then I'm 180 pounds.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
only get down to 220, I'm not going to complain if I get down to 220.
No.
I'm sure my wife won't
Yeah.
complain either because she won't have to deal with all these larger clothes. That drives her nuts, man. It's the trying to find
Yeah.
hangers that'll fit a 5 or 6X shirt. I actually put on a 3X
Yeah.
shirt the other day. This one's 4, but it's you know to get to smaller clothes is going to be awesome because she won't have to deal with them. She's 4'8", so hanging up my clothes, it's like she has a chore when she's picking up my shirt and it weighs, 5 or 10 pounds, 5 pounds for a shirt, So it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God.
you know, I don't think we can put like, determining factors on this way of eating. I think we should just eat this way and then see what our body
Yeah.
does. And if some people are
Absolutely.
like, well, I can't get to this. Well, maybe your body doesn't want to get to that.
Yeah.
It's like, or some
Absolutely.
people
Yeah.
actually do it to gain weight, to put on muscle, while they're working out, they'll add the protein and everything to actually gain
Yeah.
bulk, and they're not doing it. Well, think about this. Maybe your body just is where it needs to be. So that's why,
Yeah.
after losing 90 pounds, I know that it'll come, but it's not. I mean, we can't all be Sean White, we can't all lose 243 pounds or whatever in a year. So my body's going to do what it needs to do as it needs to do it, and not rush, not do anything any quicker than it has to. It's going to
Yeah.
adjust. It's going to have moments where it's not going to do anything. And people
Mm.
get frustrated because it's like, hey, my body's not, I'm not losing weight. I'm not doing this. You may be losing inches, or, there's other things to look at, but there's also another thing to look at is that you're making yourself healthy. You're doing what your body needs to do. And we can't concentrate on, the scale. We can't concentrate on this. We just need to know that what we're doing is what our body is designed to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
that's what I would say about that as far as weight.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you about the age of your children. Alex Jr. is 22. Sophie, my daughter, my first child's 31, and she wants to start a family. And it's only just now that I'm 65. I'm thinking, am I getting too old? But all of a sudden I'm starting to think I could be a granddad soon, and I want to be
Oh
my
yeah.
fittest I can be, you know, I don't know, maybe be around for when I'm a great granddad. I'd love to do something like that. My dad died when I was 9. He had his second heart
Wow.
attack at the age of 34. And my mum died at the age of 44 when I was
Wow.
24. So it's these little things as you do get old, as you say, you're in your 50s, you start to think to yourself, wow, I've got my own kids now, and do I want to have the same happen to me as what
Right.
happened to my mum and dad? And obviously the answer is no. And probably like yourself, since I've been on Carnivore, it just gives me that a fantastic new direction and a longer road to go down, and makes me more committed as well. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the, my grandfather died when he was 77, and my other grandfather died before I was born, like 2 months and a week before I was born. in a car accident.
Right. Right.
Um, I also let's see who else. I think we're clicking on the same one.
Yeah. Sorry,
uh,
mate. Sorry.
no, that's all right.
Hi, Ron. Sorry.
Um,
Hi. Hi, Sean.
I just said it can't all be Sean White, and here he shows up. I mean, what is it like a,
I know.
just one of those things where it's kind of funny, kind of ironic, And I'm glad he's here. Hey, Sean. Um, I will tell you this. I want to I want to be there for them, and I want to, you're off to a great start. I mean, with the past history of your parents and everything. I commend you.
Mm,
I commend you for what you're doing because you want to be there
thank you.
for your kids. You want to be there for your wife. You want to be there for any potential grandkids you might have. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's a thing too. Me being at 440 pounds was not going to make me live any longer. Me being at 350 pounds, I'm guaranteeing that I'll be here a little longer. Me being even less than that, I'll guarantee I'll be here even longer than that. Um,
Yeah.
but the main thing is not necessarily the outside, but what's on the inside. Um, I know that my health, I'm better off in my health. I feel better. I used to have little flutters in my chest for like, people say maybe
Mm,
AFib or something like that. My dad has AFib. My sister's had an AFib episode.
yeah.
Um, but that all went away. And I haven't had that little fluttering in my chest. Um, there's also, I would say, I, there's been so many other changes inside of me that make me have an inner feeling that I will be here longer and I'm doing the right
Yeah.
thing. I had
Great.
a conversation, I had an interview with Dave Mack, um, and he's going to put it out tomorrow. But I felt like, I don't know your background or anything like that, but I really feel like God led me to this diet. I feel like I mean, anything could have come up when I did that Google search for my wife. And the thing
Yeah.
that came up was Dr. Barry and Kelly Hogan. And um, I think I was led down this path for a reason. And
Yeah.
it wasn't anything that, God didn't just say, hey, you need to eat meat and you'll be better. It's more like, hey, look
Yeah.
at these people. Look what it's done for them. If you won't listen to what I'm telling you about what's going on in you, listen to these
Yeah.
testimonies. Listen to what's going on with these people. And then I started
Yeah.
doing research or not research, but I started reviewing passages in the Bible and so forth. And I was like, well, um, my dad's side of the family has a long history in the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and I never realized how much um, the Seventh Day Adventists were part of the whole vegan vegetarian
Mm,
culture until I started doing my reviews. And so I
yeah.
started looking at scripture and everything. And I was like, hey, um, is there anything negative about doing this way of eating? And I couldn't find it. And
No.
um, so I felt like God really led me here. And I think there's reason why I'm benefiting from this is because of his guidance. And I look at Job and what he went through, and then I'm like, you know, I feel like for 43 years I was tested and I failed, and
Yeah. Yeah.
for 43 years I was just destroying my own body, and now I'm
Mm.
on a path of restoration, and it's an
That's a
enlightening
good word.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Enlightening. I just feel euphoric. I
yeah,
spoke to Kerry from Homestead How. It's like an epiphany. I was miserable from probably my mid 50s to my early 60s. I think maybe it was conditioning, indoctrination, the way a lot of us have. I was thinking everything that was happening to me, it's my age. I'll have to accept it. There's nothing I can do. I can't do my sports anymore. I went through quite a mentally low period when we went into the UK lockdowns, and suddenly realized that I wasn't in control of my life as much as I thought I was. And I was able to be as supportive of my family, thinking to myself, anything can go wrong. Because, the way, well, the world's been over the last 5 years, I just felt really low. And, like yourself, I do believe in things. I believe in frequencies, vibrations, karma. I'm a good person. I try and be a good person. And I think sometimes if you give out there, it does come back to you. I try and surround myself with like-minded people, positivity. And I remember just sitting there one day in front of YouTube thinking, am I always going to be this big? Am I always going to be this miserable? And, hey presto, Fat Fiction, the movie came onto the YouTube. I sat there and watched it twice. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, it's the algorithms from YouTube. Dr. Sean Baker came along, and I looked at this guy who was like, super fit, and he's walking around with a baseball cap on, and he's got, he's absolutely ripped. And I'm going, this is not a doctor. It can't be a doctor. And then again, that next one was Ken Berry, then Dr. Kiltz, and then Dr. Anthony Chafee, who is way too good looking. But probably like yourself, I was totally intrigued. I'd never heard of keto. I'd never heard of carnivore. I thought keto was like a Japanese paper folding skill or something. So being a YouTube, aficionado, I just dug so deep into it. And that was probably the beginning of a massive change in my family because, we stopped eating together. I was losing a ridiculous amount of weight. All my health issues were fading away and getting great support from everybody. But it changed my life forever. And I've said this on some of my videos. I thank those guys, especially the doctors and the likes of Kerry. My life has been changed forever and I'll never, ever go back. I mean, is that how you feel yourself, Ron, that, you're on this road for as long as you can do it?
Oh, it's for life because there's no way I could ever go back. Um, because of the fact that I don't have an off switch and carbs really are a bad thing in my life, there's no way that
Yeah.
I can go down that path again because
Mm.
my family's too important to me. And if I did that, I would just be letting them down. Um, that's my main focus right now is to be a better example for them.
Yeah.
I want to lead by example, not,
Yeah.
send them down the wrong path by example.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both thinking exactly the same. Kent, do you want to read that message from Sean?
Sure. So, eating the proper human diet creates a condition for optimal functioning of our bodies. Once it happens, it will melt into every other areas of our lives, and one by one, we can correct what needs to be corrected. And this is so true, so true. And thank you for
It puts it
those
in a
words of
nutshell, doesn't it?
wisdom, there, Sean.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for that, Sean. Yeah, much appreciated. Let's get back to that question from
Yeah,
Cast
cast
Iron
iron.
Carnivore. What did he
Okay,
say?
this right here
Yeah,
is one of the biggest things. I've kind of I'm okay. There's good doctors out there. My doctor is a good doctor. There's doctors out there that you know I just I don't know what they're thinking half the time. We're all human. We're all gonna we don't know everything. Okay, some doctors are not open to new things, but is
no,
the food that we eat right now, if it's whole foods, you know, meat, everything, those aren't designed basically. There's some people that can tolerate them. There's some people that can tolerate veggies. There's some cultures that they can eat those things. For other people, if you eat them, you're not going to have a tolerance for it. It's the same thing with celiacs. I mean, if you think about gluten, there's people that can
yeah,
tolerate gluten. There's people that can't tolerate gluten. And my wife is one of those people who can't tolerate gluten. I could tolerate it, but does that mean that it was good for me personally? No, it was not good for me. There are foods out there that are designed to make us inflamed. There's some people that can actually, you know, not have it happen as much to them or have it not as be a decreased inflammation than other people. Other people, it just like it'll just blow up in their bodies because they have a sensitivity
yeah,
to it. The same thing. I've heard Dr.
yeah, yeah,
Baker, I've heard Dr. Chafee, I've heard Dr. Barry talk about this. That basically, there's some people who can tolerate plants. Yes, good for you. Go eat them. I can't. You know, my body doesn't. But don't knock me for
Yeah.
not being able to tolerate it. That I can find benefit from just eating meat. Um, there are
Yeah.
many options out there, and I think you have to find out for yourself and what your body is. Carnivore the answer to everyone? No. Is keto the answer for everyone? No. Is low carb answer for everyone? No. Is vegetarian or veganism, is that the answer for everyone? No. Does it work for some? Yes. Does it work
Yeah.
for others? No. I mean, it's you have to find what is best for your body and what your body can tolerate and what your body can utilize. Yes, meat
Yeah.
has the most nutrients and the most nutrient dense food out there. Your body utilizes that. It's proven that your body will utilize that more than plants. Um, it will, um, you will get everything you need from meat, but some people just can't stand eating meat. Okay, fine. If you can't stand eating meat, um, wife, she had a lot of things she had to cut out, and she was still
Yeah.
gaining weight. So once she cut out all the other stuff and just went to meat, she started losing weight. It works differently for everyone, but
Yeah.
I think that the food industry and agricultural industry back in the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of people weren't, a lot of people that are watching or going to watch this video, they weren't around. I was around when the food pyramid was created. I was around when agriculture actually said, we need to eat more grains. Well, the reason why we had to eat more grains is
Yeah.
because basically in the US, they were looking for something they could export, and all the other countries
Mm.
were needing these things. But then one day the other country said, "Hey, we don't need this anymore." And so we had a surplus of grain. So what did the US government do? The US government decided, "Hey, we
Yeah.
need to do something with these, so let's make them healthy. Let's tell everybody this is what you need to eat and this other stuff is bad." And
Yeah.
so we started getting all these processed foods for all these grains and everything and all this sugar and all this, and now our food pyramid's created and everybody's like, oh, grains are healthy, grains are what we need, and veggies, and then this little bitty thing at the top of the pyramid, it's like, this is where your protein and your dairy and all that is right up here at the very top, but you need all this other stuff. And it was because of a stupid government decision that they had to get themselves out of. um so all these highly processed
Yeah.
foods are not designed for your body. There's not a
No.
single uh, gimmicky, like fake chicken, or all the stuff that the vegans put out there. I'm like, if you have to imitate chicken or sausage, or you have to imitate meat into an impossible or that, why the heck are you eating it? Or if you
Yeah.
okay, if you think you need to eat something like that just to get that taste or whatever, that texture, then eat the real thing. I mean,
Yeah.
why go through a highly processed protein something to make you think you're eating it? I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
I've
insane.
heard this. Yeah, I've heard this thing that it's about sin. If you've thought it, you've done it. So if
Mm.
you're thinking about eating meat, you might as well just eat the meat. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm thinking. Why do people do this to themselves?
It's incredible. Well, again, I think it's, I mean, I'm quite cynical as I've got older and older, but it's indoctrination, propaganda, there's politics, there's all sorts of things into it. But this is the empowering thing about carnivore. And I think my family and friends have got to grips with this, that I am taking control of my life. I'm influencing my family, I know that much. And I think it's what Kerry says, doesn't he? He says, I'm the captain of my own ship.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. And it sounds as if you're, definitely got hold of your own ship as well.
Uh, I'm trying. I'm trying to steer it
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. It sounds great. I had a list of questions. As you've answered the first page already. It's great. You saved me a big job. I was gonna, yeah. So obviously, you've asked about when did you start? What was your typical diet before? Just tell us a bit more about your farming background.
Well, I was in FFA in high school, which is Future Farmers of America, but they don't call it that anymore. It's
Yeah.
just FFA. I spent 4 years in that. I had worked at a feed store for a year, my last year in high school. Um, I've learned a lot of the different things through that. Raising cattle and basically showing them and everything is, you get a whole different perspective on it. My first calf was a heifer, and she had a calf, and so that was total new experience for me, is seeing the birth of a calf that you've raised basically. The next one was a steer that I raised. He weighed 1,175 pounds. Wait, he weighed 1,125 pounds whenever I showed him. Didn't make the sale, but my dad bought half of him and sold the other 2 quarters to his 2 brothers at the time. But we had half of him at this calf. He dressed at 752 pounds, so we got 375 pounds of meat, or 300, yeah, 375 pounds of meat that we put in our freezer. And
Incredible.
the first time, though, the first this is what's funny. The first time my mom made a steak, she made a chicken fried steak out of the cube, the round steak, and beat it and tenderized it and made. I don't know if y'all have had chicken fried steak in the UK, but it's just it's kind of like a schnitzel. It's just a breaded
Yeah.
meat that
I
they
know.
fry. But first time I had it, I was like, I could cut it with a fork, and and I took a bite of it. I said, "Oh, forget that cow. This is great." So actually raising something and eating it is totally different. I have a cousin that that basically wouldn't let his daughter name the cattle because he knew one day they would be eating it, and
Yeah. Wow.
he he named one of his calves T-Bone because he knew it was going to be a T-bone on his plate. Um, but you know, being having a background, you see different aspects of the industry. Um,
Yeah.
I saw many struggles with farming, but I also saw the benefits of it. Um, I look at the whole regenerative farming thing now, and
Mhm.
how people are utilizing that. And that's something, if I were to be able to do that right now, I would love to be able to raise my own cattle. Um,
Yeah.
I would love to be able to provide meat for people that is, the way God intended, just eating the grass, eating off the ground,
Yeah.
off the land, and then producing that for people.
Yeah.
I've had dreams of having my own place, and one day I would
Mm.
hope to be able to do that. I mean, I'm 53, but I'm the way I'm eating right now, I may live even longer. I may get to my hundreds. I don't know, but I would love to do that someday. And
Yeah.
um, I don't know how. Do you have any kind of background in agriculture at all with your family,
Oh,
or?
not at all. I'm a city guy. I was born in Liverpool in the UK, and went down to the big smoke London in the 80s to improve my career. I was in property valuation, 33 years in local government. Took early retirement when I was 50. Um, I got a good deal, but I was miserable because I didn't know what to do with my life, and started putting weight on, started drinking too much alcohol.
Mhm.
Um, I would say because I've never done drugs. I've never smoked a cigarette ever because I knew my mum and dad both died from
That's me.
smoking, and so they were taboo anyway. But and I packed in all my sports. I was typically about 150 pounds up to about maybe my late 30s. But I then had a prosthetic knee when I was 50 from osteoarthritis. And again,
Wow.
I always look back and think, if I'd been doing carnivore, would I have developed all these issues, all this inflammation? And would I have been persuaded to have, this prosthetic knee? I don't regret it because it kept me out of a wheelchair. But then
Right.
gradually, I got through my 50s. I had my abs reconstructed. I had IBS. I had, what else did I have? I had an enlarged prostate, and all those things were building up as I got through my 50s to my 60s.
Hmm.
And I'd started swim teaching when I was 50 because my eldest Sophie was a top swimmer, and so that was like a fitness program for me. Keep myself fit. But then I realized working with kids was something I'd probably always wanted to do. They just keep you young, they keep you grounded. And so since I've been doing carnivore, and I've been thinking to myself, right, you see, I was 63 when I started. 64, I started getting smaller size shirts. I went from 2XL to a medium. And I walk on poolside today, and the boss, well, actually, the boss came up to me on Monday and she went, Alex, you look amazing. And where I work, your bosses don't give you compliments, you know what I mean? But going from an extremely sort of stressful job as a valuer to a job where I'm doing sports all the time has been the most refreshing thing that's ever happened to me. But also, the carnivore diet has just taken it to another level, you know. So yeah,
Right.
so the answer to your question is I haven't got any farming experience, but I would love, as I said to Kerry, I would love to go more out into the country. I've made a connection with a UK carnivore called Lauren. She's got a channel called Farmer's Wife Carnivore Life, which I think is a good handle. And she
Yeah.
started doing videos about her farm. She's got I think she's got beef cattle and also dairy, and I'm hoping to
Is
have her on a live stream. But yeah,
it
check
is
it
that
out.
the lady that's around in her 30s with the kids and
I think so. Yeah, I think she stopped doing shorts and other videos and concentrating on the obviously from a sort of not a rancher farm background,
uh
and I think she's making really good content at the moment. So I'm hoping to invite her onto a live stream on the 28th of
great.
October for the UK. So check that one out as well. But
Okay.
yeah, as I say, no farming background, so I'm quite jealous of you, Ron.
Oh, well, around here in Texas, there's a lot of different land,
Yeah, I'm
out
sure.
here, and you see cattle everywhere. And it's really nice, especially when you go to where I'm from. Between here, where I live now, and where I'm from, there's a lot of different things to see as far as cattle.
Yeah,
But I like what Sean was saying earlier about you can't control healthy people. Um, I One of the things I think about is, you're talking about the lockdown and everything earlier, is the events of 3 years
yeah,
ago, I think opened a lot of eyes and basically showed a lot of people how we are being controlled, I guess is a way. Um, when he said that about, powers that be want to get and keep control. Um, I think a lot of people realized just how influential those that can be, and how
yeah,
easily people are
absolutely.
manipulated. And I think, going back to what we were talking about, about being inflamed and unhealthy, there are many doctors out there who want us healthy. There's many doctors out there who really want us to be not come back to them. They don't want to see us over and over again. But there are doctors out there that you know they make a living by us coming back, and they want to control what's going on in our lives, and they want to just prescribe something so you keep coming back. Whereas the answer is not always medicine. I mean, my wife has to take a thyroid replacement because she doesn't have a thyroid. Yeah, she's going to have to go back and be monitored and
Wow.
so forth. So it's I understand that, but to prescribe somebody something that's going to create other side effects, that then you're going to have to prescribe something for that side effect, is just not the answer that we are looking for. And a lot of times we can find the answer in what we're eating.
No.
And I have eliminated basically 4 different medications in the last almost 6 months.
Mm.
So
Wow.
to gain that control and for my doctor to be working with me and basically taking that away from me, is I commend her for doing that, because she wants me healthy. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
see me. She wants me to be there for my wife because she knows she's going to see my wife, until this is done,
Yeah. Yeah.
so and her biggest thing every time we go see her is that she said that it's more important for me to be healthy and to support her than it is for me to be unhealthy. and just taking medications and trying to survive.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are doctors out there that
Right.
do want us healthy. Yes, there are doctors out there who could care less and just want the money. We are all that way. I mean, there are
Yeah.
people, just like you and me, that want to put the message out there and let people know what this has done for us. And then there's people out there
Yes.
who don't want to hear what we have to say, and they want to shut us up because it affects their bottom line. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, it's when I was told years ago, when you put your head above the parapet wall or step out of the trenches, you're going to get shot at, whether you like it or
Oh
not.
yeah.
I'm a sensitive guy, and when I first started doing this, I said to Michelle, my wife, I need to tell people because I've got a transformation of my life. My mental, physical capacities. It was almost like a dream for me. But every time I spoke to somebody, if somebody gave me a compliment, I would I would dump it on them. It'd be like a tsunami, a massive wave of carnivore, and everybody just rejected what I was saying. But YouTube has got to be the best platform for us to, get the message out to people, without doubt.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you hear about Dr. Berg talking about being censored and quiet. But he has so many millions of views on
yeah,
that video. Um, but I don't think God has a plan, and He has a purpose for everything. You know,
mm,
so we have a message out there of being healthy, of the benefits of this. And it's not that we're trying to push anything on anybody. We're just letting people know what it's doing for us. And
yeah,
if God wants to get that message out there, He's going to get that message out there regardless. And He's going to work through us to make to proclaim that message. And if people, I want people to basically listen to the testimonies and to do their own review. I want people to come to this and hear how you and I are benefiting. How you're 65, I'm 53. I want to be you at 65. I it's like I see your video and I'm like, wow, he's 65 years old. If I can look like that and be in greatest shape as you are at 65, oh my gosh, that'd be the world to me. I look at videos of Sean, where he was and where he is now. If I could get to that point, hey,
yeah,
that's all the better. It's not that we're trying to say this is the only way, this is the only thing you can, we're not pushing that veganism is bad or vegetarianism is bad. We're saying that this is beneficial. This is a
mm,
way of, this is just a way of us getting to a healthy place. Do it or don't do it, but know that
yeah,
we did it and we are this way. We are getting a benefit. So that's what I'm looking at.
yeah. Absolutely, totally agree. I mean, I think all my trolls and all my comments have now died away because people know I'm not going to give up on this. I've had people say to me, "Was it? He's got plastic surgery. He's wearing a toupee. Oh, he dyes
Uh,
his hair."
I,
And I think to
I'm
myself, "My
follically
God."
challenged. I'm
Well,
wondering if
fortunately
maybe
for me,
my,
I yeah. Although I lost my dad when I was 34, both my granddads lived till their 70s, I think, and they had a full head of hair. So I'm grateful to them for my was it my genetics or whatever. But yeah, I still can't believe this is all mine. But at least was it grateful for
well,
small mercies anyway.
that's one reason, my wife, her dad has a full head of hair, okay? And they say it comes from your mom's side of the family and all that. Well, my
Yeah,
mom's dad was completely bald, so I knew this was coming. But when I married my wife, I was like, I'm so glad I found a lady whose father has a full head of hair. But I knew I'd be doomed though when my kid was born because both of my kids, when they were born, had a full head of hair. And it's like, it's like the questions
yeah,
were, who's the dad because they looked at my head and then they're, or it's like, so I was in a lose-lose situation, when they were born, when they had a full head of hair. I was like, well, dang, it's like,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those like, hereditary things or genetics are crazy. But
Yeah.
do you have another question on there that you wanted?
Well, I was going to say as well, I mean, on my YouTube channel, on my description, I do put a little comment about my appearance is completely irrelevant. It's what's on the
Yeah,
inside. It's your mental state, your
right.
physical state, and the weight loss leads to the mental and the physical improvements anyway. I tried for, I'd say, since I was 50 in the gym every day. I get free membership. And I would come home. Michelle said to me, you're not losing any weight. And, for all those years, I didn't realize it was my diet. You know, if my doctor had said to me, Alex, maybe just go on a low carb diet and cut out all these toxins and, maybe cut down on your alcohol, I might not have even become carnivore. But, I think we're both on a mission, aren't we, to get this out there to the masses, because I think there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people probably, I mean, I was miserable. I was really miserable. And, for me to do this myself, I do pat myself on the back, but I'm so grateful for the likes of yourself, like people have been interviewing on the the live streams, Kerry from Homestead How, all these carnivores from, I mean, across the world. You've got to give them kudos for standing above the parapets and you know taking the slings and arrows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, One thing that I was thinking about was that my wife and I, we were talking, and it's like before we were just like, I come home from work and we just, eat something, sit on the couch and watch TV. And now,
Yeah,
one of the things is that I'm going out, trying to find, the meat and everything to cook. I cook and then she cleans. Um, she knows that she says that I can cook meat better than she can, so she lets me do all that. I don't mind doing all that. I love cooking.
yeah,
And one thing I did the other night is I spent 3 hours cooking meat for what we're going to be eating this week. And
yeah,
but another thing is that when we go to the store, we're going together and we're getting out and doing more. I used to have to sit down like 15, 20 minutes into the store because my lower back would be hurting.
yeah,
I'm running around the store pushing the cart trying to get, she's following behind me. She's shorter with shorter legs, so I'm like leaving her in the dust in the store now.
yeah.
And it's like
Uh,
I've just felt so much more energy. It's
yeah,
it's amazing. I have a different outlook on life. Before it was just like, um, we're just surviving, and now we're
yeah.
actually getting out and doing things, and it's an amazing thing. And you just when your body is optimized, then your perspective is optimized.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible, isn't it?
yeah, it's
The
great.
connection. I was going to say the weight loss for me was the first thing, but the mental and physical connections. I mean, from your gut to your head. Michelle keeps looking at me saying she asked me to do things around the house. I'm not very good at stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And she says to me, "You never used to say yes. You'd always find an excuse, like I'm cooking." But a couple of weeks ago, I was on top of our extension. I was cleaning the gutters and the soffits and everything. And she's staring at me thinking, is this really Alex? It's like
I
a
had
complete
comments
turn.
like that too. It's like,
Yeah.
who
I mean,
are
the
you?
energy levels are, yeah, the energy levels are phenomenal. I was
Oh
going to ask you
yeah.
a question about your physical and mental changes. Was it? Yeah. Have you noticed any immediate or early changes in your energy levels, mood,
Oh yeah.
or cognitive function? I think the answer is yes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, brain fog is even gone. I was having, especially here
Yeah.
in the last couple of years before I started this, I was like starting to forget things like, little things like
Yeah.
I used to be so on top of names and, I could just give you information left and right about certain things. And then I was getting to the point where like, I can't remember what that is or what that was or what was that movie called or what was that book called or what was. But now
Yeah.
it's coming back. I was like getting into this point where it was like hard to think about certain things. But now, even with us doing this, I'm like rattling off all this stuff left and right. It's like just the mental clarity and the acuity. It's there, and it's
Yeah.
amazing too. And you wouldn't think that a diet would do that. You wouldn't think that the way you
No.
eat
No.
would actually cause those things.
No. It's all, as you say. I was watching Kerry saying it's all backwards, isn't it? Everything's upside down and backwards.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
it's
Oh,
crazy.
just another quick question. I was
Uh huh.
sorry. I was watching your video where you cutting up a New York strip.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So, Ron, what's a New York strip?
It's the top loin. It's not the fillet, but it's part of the T-bone. There's in the T-bone you have the fillet, and on the other side is the loin, and that loin strip that goes on the other side of that T-bone is where the New York strip comes from.
Yeah.
So basically, they
I
just
think we
cut
might call it.
around
Yeah.
that T-bone.
Yeah.
You might call it what?
I think we call it a. Sorry, mate. I think we call it a prime sirloin over here. I think it's called sirloin.
There's another area that
Yeah.
is the sirloin, but this is it's a
Yeah.
totally different cut. The it's called a strip loin is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching yours about the ribeyes, and we were talking one time, or we mentioned in an email about the price and everything, or in a message, and I asked you about the price of how much that was per pound on something that you were cutting up, and
Yeah.
you told me how much it was, and then I looked at your video on you cutting up the ribeye, and so I was comparing the prices, and you know what? It's really weird because you had the prime ribeye, and
Mm.
did you have prime, choice, and select in the UK, or is
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
okay? Well, here prime it goes for anywhere from $14 a pound to $16 a pound,
Yeah.
or 17 or even $20 a pound, even for the large chubs like what you had. And I was figuring up what you
Yeah.
were actually paying on yours for the dollar amount, and you're actually on that one that was from that smaller one you had, that was like
Yeah.
19. I think it was 19 pounds for the per kilogram or something.
Mm.
That actually comes up to
Yeah.
eight
Yeah.
dollars and 88 cents a pound here for prime. We can't get prime for $8.88 here.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
y'all have so much better prices than we do."
No. No.
Because even your other one that you had that you got from that butcher was $12.88
Yeah. I mean,
is what we have here.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when I go in to see them, yeah, I did tell them I was doing carnivore diet about 12 months ago, and the guys, it's like a trade shop. It's a butcher's shop, but it's a trade shop. And they were
Uh-huh.
like, "Well, what is it?" And I explained what it was. So I got some funny comments. Started going in a couple of months later, and Susie, one of the girls, was like, "Alex, that diet is working for you, isn't it? You look incredible." And I said, "Well, listen, guys, I don't go to supermarkets anymore, but I want to just come to your shop. I love the friendly service. I love the fact that we can have a chat about it. Can I have some discounts?" And that's where it all started. So the butcher would come out, shake my hand, say, what do you want today, Alex? And sometimes he'd let me go into the back of the store and pick whatever joint I want, So I am fortunate that I am able to get some really good deals. I suppose, like if I went to Costco, it would probably be the same, but I wouldn't be able to negotiate the price. But
Right.
yeah, I think I'm quite fortunate. But I say, if you
Yeah,
don't
you're
ask,
getting
you
some
don't
great
get.
deals. Yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah,
There's a place around here that I
yeah,
want to go look at probably after this stream is over. It's called Texas Slab, and I didn't even know they're here. I just started looking up butchers in my area. And so
uh,
I'm going to go over there. I'm thinking about going over there, take my wife over there just to go into it and just see what they have, because everything we get is from the store,
yeah,
and the grocery store is, just the select meat. So I try to get them on sale anytime I can. And that usually ranges anywhere from $4.97 all the way up to about $8 a pound. But
yeah,
I can't really, with four people in this house, I can't do 16, $17 a pound for meat. And that's one of the things I try to do is I try to find, you know, dollar friendly. I'd rather eat a $7 a pound steak than eat some processed stuff. So I would, and I'm only eating one meal a day. My
Yeah, yeah,
wife, she
absolutely.
eats like up to 3 meals a day. So for me, eating a pound and a half of meat, is only about, $13 a day for me. But I got to think about my rest of my family, and my wife, she's eating, a little bit more than I
Yeah.
am for throughout the day. And but this way of eating, people say, "Well, I can't afford the meat. I can't afford the medication. I can't afford, not being there for my family. I can't afford not being there when they need me." So this way of eating allows me to prolong my life and also save money. And I'm
Hmm.
able to basically say, um, I can afford $13 a day. What I can't afford is going out to eat and spending $70 for one meal when I can buy almost a full 15-pound or 10-pound piece of meat and cut it up and eat on it for days. So
Hmm.
that's the thing. This way of eating is so much better. I want to see what they charge per pound at this place. This butcher, because if I can start going there, I'm going to go there. But anyway,
Yeah.
you got a great deal going. You need to keep that
Yeah.
going. Is this comment down here from Leander? Um, he says
Yeah.
they're manipulated by Packers. Now, um, is that does that happen there? Or they do a lot of manipulation of price there?
Well, Stanson's in Widnes, where I'm from. I think it's a Cheshire butcher, so it's northwest. It's a small company, but I don't. I think what they do is they'd rather people come in and buy a joint or a roast, as you guys say, because
Uh
they
huh.
know obviously the price is all in the packing. But
Right.
I don't think there's any manipulation in where I go in particular. There may be some in the industry, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really affect me. As soon as I go in there, they go, "What are you buying today, Al?" And I go, "Well, I had a sale. I said I had a sale on last week. I'm going to go for a ribeye today." So we say,
Uh huh.
"Well, I've got a Black Angus one for you, or there's one called Clonard, which is from Ireland again, and there's one I do like called the Posh Butcher. That's quite good." So they normally supply expensive restaurants. So when I get my deal, I'm getting the same, I'm getting a much better deal than if I went into a very expensive restaurant. I mean, I was paying £25, which is probably about $30 for a decent steak when I went out. But
Right.
the way it's gone, I mean, I can afford it, but when I'm at
Yeah.
home and I'm making my own steaks or two steaks, you know, which would probably be about $50 or $60 if I went
Oh
out,
yeah.
I'm sitting, I'm sitting there like a king,
Oh yeah.
with a big smile on
And
the face. Yeah,
then you can season it the way you want. You know exactly what's on it. You don't
yeah.
have to worry about if they've, you know, marinated it in something beforehand, or if it's soaked up in kind of sugar. If they put sugar on it, a lot of these different things, these rubs and everything they put on meat, you don't know what they have in it. You are in control. You know exactly
Absolutely.
what you're eating. You know exactly what was put on it. You know exactly what it was cooked on. You know exactly who handled it. You don't have to worry about, if the person that was cooking your food was sick that day because you did it. You know, I would rather be in control of what I ate than have to worry about what somebody was doing at a
Absolutely.
restaurant. And I wouldn't want,
Yeah. I
I
love
can pay
control.
them 50
Yeah.
bucks to cook it and serve it to me and everything, or I can pay 50 bucks and eat for days. You know, it's like, I think I'll eat for days, it's like, plus my
Yeah.
wife's cleaning it up. So, so
Just, Ron, just a quick change of subject. Would you mind touching on this irradiation thing? Do you mind talking about that? You
uh,
mentioned about
yeah.
hypothyroidism.
And you were mentioning too about, as far as if you would have started this way, you could have probably not had the inflammation in your knee. If I would have known in 2011 what,
Hmm.
you know, basically this diet would do, or this way of eating plus magnesium and iodine and everything for my
Yeah.
wife, we probably could have saved her thyroid. But
Wow.
back in 2011, she had a resting heart rate of 140 beats a minute. And when she went and had the scan done to see how much how much of the thyroid was in her body, they give you a dye-filled iodine, and that you take this iodine pill, and it
Wow.
just takes the dye and goes throughout, and it attaches to all the thyroid hormone. She was 97% saturated with thyroid hormone, and that's the reason why her heart rate was so high. But she had just overactive thyroid, and we tried medication, and she had a reaction to it. So the doctor basically said at that time, well, the only other thing we can do is surgery or radiation. And so with radiation, they give you this big capsule that you swallow,
Mm.
and you swallow this capsule, and basically it attaches to the thyroid hormone and the iodine, and it attacks your thyroid, and it kills your thyroid. And she couldn't be around our kids for 2 weeks. I couldn't even be in the same room with her because it would seep out. She had to carry a card for a year that if she ever went into an airport or anything, that she would have to let them know in case it came up on, the radiation came up. And she couldn't like hug her pet or anything like that because it would do things to them for like 2 weeks. And I mean, it was miserable. And I know that if we would have been able to maybe give her a magnesium supplement, maybe even an iodine supplement, that we would have been able to save her thyroid.
Right.
I have no doubt about that. But now she doesn't have one, so she's not producing any thyroid hormones. She's going to be doing this for the rest of her life. And it's not anything I would wish on anybody.
No.
Even my worst enemy, I wouldn't want them to go through this because the thyroid controls so much in your body.
Yeah.
And I would say for somebody who is having an issue with hyperthyroidism, look into your diet, look into magnesium. I didn't realize how much your hormones and everything were controlled by magnesium. I didn't realize how much your hormones were controlled by cholesterol.
Mm.
I didn't realize that was almost a building block for every hormone in our body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't do the drastic. That's even people, I understand. My doctor recommended that I get, some kind of gastric bypass. I'm not changing the plumbing in my system. God designed me a certain way, and I'm not going to go in there and try to reroute it and try to make it so that, I can lose weight. I had to deal with the mental part of it because my mental part is that I didn't know how to stop. And I didn't know how to stop because sugar was controlling it. I had an
Mm.
addiction to sugar and carbs. Once I dealt with that, then I'm able to lose the weight. A lot of people get these reroutes and everything, and they get the sleeves or they get the band or whatever, but they don't deal with what's going on in their mind and what's going on, as far as their psychology of this, that they revert back. I've seen many, many people that have gotten the surgery
Mm.
and have just gained the weight back because they never dealt with they never got rid of that addiction. They still were eating, carbs, and they were still eating this, so that when it's just slowly stretched back out or slowly did this, or they had to have the lap band removed or they had to have the sleeve removed, they had to have something reversed. So you have to deal with the mental part of this. And the biggest mental thing is my addiction. And that's what a lot of people, they just need to deal with the addiction. A lot of people with thyroid issues, they need to look at what can I do in my body, because once you have that removed, there's no going back. You can't say, "Oh well, let's get a replacement thyroid put in, and let's have a thyroid transplant."
Yeah.
No, you're done. You're set. You're on medication for the rest of your life, and that's what I would say to people. Do all your options first. Explore every option you have out there. Don't just, you know, in anything you do, don't just settle on surgery. I've heard so many people, that say, their doctor wants them to go on a statin or something, or "Well, let me try this first before we start doing that. Let's see what this does." Or the doctor will say, recommend, hey, let's do a knee replacement for you. Maybe the inflammation can go down. Maybe the cartilage is all gone. Maybe you have to have the knee surgery because the cartilage is all gone. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I know my mom had both of her knees replaced. She's got titanium knees now on both knees. And she wasn't, I mean, she's not like extremely overweight or anything like that. I mean, she's lost a lot of weight just, before she even had the surgery. But I think that if we actually, you know, take control of our lives through diet or through proper nutrition, then we won't have to worry about those things.
Absolutely. I think I keep saying there's a tsunami coming with the carnivore because I've noticed the restrictions on Dr. Berg and other. I don't get any notifications from Dr. Berry now or Dr. Chafee, which is a bit concerning. But I'm just hoping that the tide of carnivores is, as they say, the rising tide floats all boats. So fingers crossed.
I haven't heard that saying in a long time, but yeah, you're right. The rising tide floats all boats. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I haven't asked any of my questions yet, Ron, because you've answered them all, which is fantastic for me. But I'm just gonna have a quick look through now, see if I can cherry pick any.
All right.
Um,
While you're doing that,
okay.
I'll look at these comments
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, are you still experiencing any cravings for non-carnivore?
Cravings will always be there because you, I mean, you are always, once you go through this like training of, years and years of eating this way, I mean, if it wasn't good, we wouldn't eat it. Okay. If it didn't taste good, we wouldn't put it in our mouths, period. I mean, there's nothing that I ate previously that I was just like, yuck. If it was yuck, I didn't eat it. So, um, I'm always going to have, I love nachos, I loved Italian food. I love Chinese food. Uh, those are my go-to things. Were Mexican, Italian, Chinese. Those were my other foods that I went to if it wasn't just an old American cheeseburger or pizza. Italian food pizza. I don't know if you can consider that pizza Italian food, but not in America anyway. It's not the same thing as what they serve in Italy. Um, but you're always going to have temptation. And I saw a video. I don't know if you saw it yesterday from the minimalist carnivore. Did you see his video he put out there
No,
yesterday? He put a
no, no.
video out there as far as the term cheating. And he said he likes the term sabotage basically because we are, when we give in to things that we used to eat, we're sabotaging ourselves because we're doing damage to ourselves.
Yeah,
I didn't get this way because of the things I ate were good for me. I didn't get to 440 pounds because what I ate was something that I should have eaten. Yeah, it was mixed in. I had some things in there mixed in that were good for me, but there are a lot of things in there that basically were not good. And a lot of those things were tasted really good,
mm,
or I wouldn't have kept eating them. So, yeah, I'm going to have moments where, and I've had moments where basically you like, man, that piece of cake sounds good, or I would love to have one of those chocolate pies or, a piece of carrot cake. Oh my gosh, I can remember when I used to eat that stuff. Um, but the thing is I have control now over how I respond because now I can say, you know what? It all sounds good and it all tastes good, but what does it do to my body?
mm,
How do I feel after I do it? Do I
yeah,
feel good after I do it? No. Did I feel good when I did it before? No. But now I can actually sit there and say I can eat a steak to the point that I'm full and satiated and I feel good afterwards.
yeah,
I mean, I can go and say, "Hey, honey, let's go to the store. Let's go to this place. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go." I can stand in the kitchen for 3 hours where I couldn't do it before. And do things in the kitchen.
yeah,
Um, And I just think about that. What is it? Why do I want to eat it? Why do I have this craving? Why do I have this temptation?
Mm,
And then I think, of the results. And for me,
yeah,
losing 90 pounds from just eating meat is more of a something to get excited about than me going and eat a candy bar or something like that and think,
mhm,
why did I do this? So yes, we're going to have cravings. Yes, I'm going to have cravings probably for the rest of my life, but I have
yeah,
control over those cravings, and I'm not going to sabotage my way of eating because once I know if I do one thing that it is hard for me to stop. It's just something my body would just not know how to just say, nah, I don't need this anymore.
yeah. I think we're both captains of our own ships, aren't we?
Yes.
Right.
So addiction is
Do you want to
what
read that out for us, please, Ron?
addiction is what keeps us focused on the physical. Anyone who makes this life change can testify that change has to start in.
Mm. Right. Got a
And
question
its last
here.
thing is in your mind. It says, Ron, how have you coped with
Yeah.
the transition to continuous meals of bacon, eggs, steaks? Do you get bored of the same old thing? I I don't okay. I don't get bored, but I don't eat the same thing every day. Um, I'll cook up like right now in my refrigerator, I have a pork roast. I have a few steaks in there, and I have some other roasts, like some chuck roast and some shoulder roast. Um, I, some of the roasts they can get drier, so I add butter to them and some salt. I'll add salt to it. The good salt, not that Morton's, in the can. Not that salt. Um, but you have to switch it up. I never ate organ meat. I hated liver. My mom used to cook liver, but God bless her, she would overcook liver. And so I started looking up, how do you cook liver? What's the best way to cook liver? And I started saving bacon grease, and so they said, well, cook it in bacon grease and just do it till it changes color, and then flip it over, just cook it a little bit longer, and then eat it. So it's almost like a, not I wouldn't say raw, but it's like a very rare to not even medium. It's like a rare to medium rare that you cook it. And I've never had, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try this one because I've always hated the smell of liver. I hated the taste of liver, but I did it like 3 months into carnivore. And when I did it for the first time and I cooked it like that in the bacon grease and with salt, the first time I ate it, I was like, this isn't half bad, So I would eat liver, like you can. The thing is finding liver around here is hard. I had to actually buy it in the frozen foods and let it set and thaw out, and then it's like 1 pound of liver was $3.48, and so I cooked a few. I cooked all that. And my son ate it with me. My youngest son, he's never had it, and I cooked some eggs with it. So I fried up some eggs, some sunny side up eggs. I love them runny. So you get those
Mm.
two together, and I mean, it was great. Um, Change up the steaks you eat. Um, like you do, Alex. Last time you ate a sirloin, this time you felt like a ribeye. Don't eat the same thing over and over again. I mean, ribeye every time is great, because it's got the fat content and all that. But grab yourself a sirloin and put some butter on it. Grab yourself a roast and cook up a roast. I tried a Denver steak the other day, and also a flat iron steak, and I've never tried these things before. I even cooked a tri-tip the other day and sliced it up, about half an inch, not even half. I'm sorry, about a quarter inch thick. Did some slices of that. Had little medallions of tri-tip that I ate, and just salt on it and everything. I never would have thought of just eating salt on meat. And you're gonna get and try your eggs different ways. You know, do scrambled eggs, do hard boiled eggs, do fried eggs. Don't eat just the same way all the time. And yeah, you're going to get bored. It's going to get boring, but you can make a buttery egg. Just uh, and also go. You need to watch Chris Cooking Nashville. If you've never watched Chris Cooking Nashville, he's got some awesome recipes for the carnivore diet. He has this mashed potato recipe. Have you ever seen it, Alex?
No, no,
Do you like mashed potatoes?
I did.
That's okay. He does this thing, this highfalutin low carb guy who goes out there and actually reviews recipes and everything. He did one of his recipes, and he has a mashed potato recipe that he does out of egg whites. But
Mm.
he uses
Oh
beef
wow.
gelatin. He uses beef gelatin in it, and of course he puts dairy in it. He puts fresh mozzarella cheese in it, and but when you do this thing, I gave it to my wife and I. We were like, "Oh my gosh!" It was funny was what she said one time is like, "I don't want eggs tonight," but then I made this mashed potatoes and she still had eggs because it's made out of eggs. But she loved the mashed potatoes. It's like faux, carnivore mashed potatoes is what he calls it. But go out there because he's got awesome recipes. He even has this one that he does for pizza. It's a carnivore pizza. I mean, you want some ideas, you want to do different things instead of just eating bacon, eggs, and steak. Well, go out there and watch this guy, Chris Cooking Nashville. He's like blown up on the internet as far as how many views. He just celebrated his 1 millionth view on his videos, and he's doing right now a creepy Halloween theme right now. So I'm wanting to see what all he does because my T1D, we have to watch what he eats, and so this will give me some ideas for him for Halloween because this whole time's coming up, for holidays. I think somebody put out here about holidays in the South or something. Yeah, he says, yeah, we can skip holidays in the South. Um, No, I'm not gonna skip holidays in the South. I'm already planning on for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna get a turkey and I'm gonna get, a prime rib roast and, I'm gonna do these mashed potatoes. That's gonna be our Thanksgiving. And, we're, that's another thing that we were, uh, asking about, how people will avoid family gatherings because of this way of eating, because they don't wanna be tempted by things. Back in July, I had
Yeah,
my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, and I went to it knowing that there's going to be cake, there's going to be punch, there's going to be all these desserts and everything. But you know what? I just didn't partake in it. But I wanted to be there for my parents for their anniversary. I've got a family reunion that's coming up in the next week or so, and it's like they said, bring food for your family and enough to share or whatever. And so I'm like, I haven't been to a family reunion in probably 3 or 4 years because of my job, and I'm able to go this time. So I'm planning on taking food for me and my wife, since we're carnivore, and then
yeah,
also taking some food for my sons. That's not just only meat. And but I'm not going to avoid family functions or even weddings or anything like that just because the temptation is going to be there for the food. you know that's what I'm saying. I'm able to cope with that. I'm able to control what I do. You have the ability to enjoy life and not take part in those things. You just
hmm
have to tap into
yeah,
that ability. You have to take that into your control. If you can't, if it's just too much, you need to start evaluating what has control of you. Is
yeah,
food in control of you, or are you in control of food? Because if that's the way you're going to walk through life, you better not walk into a convenience store or grocery store. Because if you can't go to a family gathering or something like that because of what's going to be served there, how in the world are you
mm,
going into a grocery store to buy food if you can't control which aisle you go down? You
Yeah.
know, it's like the
I
temptation's
totally agree.
there, you know, so take part in family things, take part in weddings, take part in all this stuff. You don't have to, you know, people. I had this thing at work, okay, where they had a luncheon at work, and I wasn't eating because I only eat one meal a day. And you know, this lady would come up to me and
Yeah.
say, "Can I make you a plate?" Because I was monitoring some messages and stuff, and she goes, "Can I make you a plate?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good," you know. And she's like, I can go get this for you," and I'm like, "I don't need it, but thank you." You know, if I wanted to eat, I'd go eat it, but it's not my time to eat, so I'm good. Just you know, but they were thinking that because you know the normal is everybody eats lunch, and I was just not
Mm.
doing it because I was working. Well, you know, but I could have just said, "Yeah, give me a plate," you know, but I have control over that. So we all just need to take
Yeah.
control of what's, you know, what is controlling us.
Yeah. No, superb. Absolutely superb. Right. Let me have a quick look at these questions that you haven't answered so far.
Okay,
um,
I'm going to look over these things
uh,
too while you're looking at that.
oh yeah, just a quick one then. What's your favorite steak, Ron?
Everybody's go-to is ribeye because of how it is, but I think when I had that flat iron steak, it was probably my favorite. But it's hard to find. Uh,
Yeah.
it's it's almost similar to a tri-tip, but it's you know, it's a little bit thinner and so forth, and you cut it across the grain. Um, it's not one you typically would get, but if you don't
Mhm.
cut it right, then it can be real stringy and so forth. But it was really good. That as far as what I like as far as steak, um, I've I've kind of developed a lack of taste for chicken. I used to. I mean, my
Me
wife was
too.
a chicken queen. I now when I eat
Yeah.
chicken, I'm just like, I just don't feel
Mm.
the same. I don't
No.
feel. I can eat like a pound of chicken, and I'm like, what did I eat? When I eat a pound of
Yeah.
meat, you know, beef, I'm like, I feel good. I feel energetic. I feel like I got something out of what I ate. Um, I've even done, you know, like chicken thighs and things like that with the skin on, but it's not the same thing. I've got I think somebody said, Tebow here, he said,
No. No.
he's got lamb chops tomorrow. And, I was like, I went and I actually purchased a leg of lamb, a boneless leg of lamb, at Costco that I'm going to cook up. My wife is not real thrilled about lamb. I've cooked lamb before, but my son's really excited about it because he wants to eat it with me. So I'm going to cook up a leg of lamb. I'm going to figure out, you know, the
Yeah.
best way to do it. Um, People talk about, you know, sous vide steaks and then searing them and things like that as a way of doing it. Um, I, to me, I'm not really concerned about the type of meat as long. I used to be really concerned about what I ate because I was like, "Ooh, I'd like to have this," or "Ooh, I'd like to." But then I found out through this way of eating that food is not. Food is not. It's just a fuel, and especially when you
Mm.
eat one meal a day. I just eat because I just need to. I'm not eating because I'm really hungry. I'm eating because I know I need something to help. You know, I can't
Yeah.
just fast all day, you know, every day because that's just not good as far as your body will start utilizing the muscle in your body when you start doing a really long extended fast. So I know I need the protein and I know I need the fat. And so I just eat to eat, not eat to, I don't live to eat, I eat to live. So concentrating on all those things is not a big deal for me. Bacon out there, you just got to be careful what the ingredients are on bacon. But I'd rather eat bacon that's not like a maple or something flavored bacon. You know, just a
Yeah.
regular hickory smoked bacon. Um,
Yeah. Me
I'll
too.
eat that. What's that?
I said, me too.
Okay. I'll eat, eat bacon before I'll eat ham or sausage or anything like that because it's more of a whole food. I've looked at the
Yeah.
ingredients on sausage, and I'll do ground pork now and make my own sausage versus um, buying a packaged ground sausage, or breakfast sausage or anything like that, or even a hot link or any kind of
Okay.
a banger
Got a
or
question
whatever.
from Sean there.
What would you two be doing right now if you hadn't found carnivore? I'd probably be sitting on my couch watching TV and wondering what I was going to be eating next. That's probably what I'd be
Yeah.
doing. you know? What about you?
Yeah, probably the same answer. I would be miserable. I'd still be doing my swim teaching. Looking for answers, maybe, which I know I've found now, but I would start. I don't know. It's a good question, really good question. I certainly wouldn't be as happy. I think I'm a much happier person
Yeah.
internally. I think I'm so good at tolerating other things now. I used to react and be quite negative to people who I felt were stupid. But
You couldn't tolerate stupidity.
yeah, I was quite. We have a character over here in the UK called Victor Meldrew, and that was my Facebook profile. The Victor Meldrew was a very grumpy, old, very old English type of guy who was criticized everything and everybody, and his favorite saying was, "I don't believe it." And that's how I constantly was going through my life. I was cynical about everything, and I think it was because I was overweight. I had my psoriasis, my acid reflux, all the documented health issues I've had. That's a great question from Sean. I just think I would be miserable. Um, I think Michelle would be probably unhappy with the direction I was taking. And I think since I have, gone 360 degrees and gone, you know, I'm what sort of 160 pounds from 202, 2XL to a medium UK size. I've had to throw all my old clothes out. We're going to Berlin in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be wearing the same size clothes as my son Alex, and he's 6'1". He's 22.
Wow.
He's in great shape, and I think to myself, probably like yourself, I feel blessed that I've come across this way of eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'd probably be getting fatter.
I'm gonna just go through. Sorry, Ron.
I just said I'd probably be getting fatter if I didn't find
Right,
carnivore. I'd
right.
probably be 460 pounds right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. Yeah. Right, Ron. I think I'm gonna have to call it time. I mean, my schedules. We're supposed to be going babysitting tonight for my
Oh,
sister-in-law. So
well,
yeah, we're
that'll
gonna
be
be staying
fun.
overnight. But what? Pardon?
I said that will be
Say,
fun.
say again. Yeah,
That will
well,
be
they've got a really big house yeah, in Liverpool. There's a place called Chilwell. They've got a nice big posh house, so we're going to stay there for the night. What I want to say, Ron, is it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Um,
oh, the
Lots of
pleasure's been
insights.
mine.
Yeah, I would love to speak to you again about this. So it'd be great if we could keep in touch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just
Yeah.
we're
Thanks
connected
to all the
on
viewers who.
Facebook.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was just saying we're connected on Facebook, and
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
anybody who wants to go out there, we're there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to all the subscribers and all the viewers from my side. And obviously, I'd like to say thanks to all Ron's supporters and viewers. Please subscribe to Ron's channel. It's got some great stuff on it. Journey like me. And I'll be certainly watching your progress, Ron.
Well, I appreciate it.
Can you hear me, Ron? Yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Okay, guys. So we'll finish it there. And wherever you are, everybody, have a great day. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks everybody